He's the Kentucky basketball coach. He's John Calipari. Good to have him back on the program. Coach, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good now. You notice I was on time, and when you did the podcast, let everybody know.
I was probably about 12 minutes late.
Yeah. And by the way, if your listeners haven't listened to that podcast, there was so much stuff I learned about you. And you know what? After listening to it, I even dislike you more. I mean, it was really good stuff. By the way, go ahead.
I had a lot of fun.
You want to say something? Go ahead. I did too.
Can I have permission to start a rumor that you'll be the next head coach of the New Orleans Pelicans?
Not happening.
Oh, no. I just, guys don't normally ask permission to start a rumor. I was just asking permission if I could start the rumor.
What socks do you have on? Do you have them inside out or you have them inside out?
I have them regular.
Okay.
I only did that one time. I only had my socks inside out that one time because I wore them, right side out the previous day.
Yeah, and your underwear too, right? You only did that once. Yeah, right.
So just give me a vague, non-denial that you're, just so I can run with something on it. It's a slow day, Coach. Come on.
I know, but here it was great. I was at the All-Star game last night because my son said, "Are we going to the All-Star game?" So the players, we had a day off. I did my tape work. We left later in the day. We get down there, and then all the stuff was swirling. I didn't get to talk to DeMarcus, and if I don't know if any pro athletes listen to your show. I doubt it, but if they do, they know that being traded it's like you grieve. It's the worst. And even if it is a trade that is a good thing for both parties and for the players, being traded knocks these guys for a loop. So DeMarcus loved Sacramento. He felt it was his home. He loved the fans. They just weren't winning. And maybe they didn't have enough. But I'm telling you, both he and Anthony, they're about winning. Anthony Davis, when I recruited him, just said, all I want to do is win. You don't even need to tell me where I'm going to play. I'll play wherever you want me to. The kid ended up taking the fourth most shots on my team that year, and he just scored 52 in an All-Star game. That's how much he's unselfish and how stupid I am. DeMarcus, they can say what they want. He was unselfish for us here. He played with John Wall and Patrick Patterson and Eric Bledsoe. He shared. He goes to USA Basketball. He shared. If you talk to Mike Krzyzewski, he'll tell you he didn't have any issues with him, and he brought him off the bench. Now, obviously, he and Anthony are going to have to figure it out together, and it's going to take time. It's, if anybody thinks, okay, now they're just starting to win, you need guards, you need schemes that you feel comfortable with that you're going to learn. Just like when Cleveland just started with LeBron, it took time. It took them a couple months before they really started clicking.
How would you use those two in New Orleans?
I would say with Alvin Gentry, the one thing that when you look at him, he is a very, very bright offensive coach. Out of the mold of the, Golden State and all that, I think he'll figure it out. You got one that's a little more physical. You got one. Anthony could play the three now.
Yeah.
He didn't have to be the four.
Mm-hmm.
You could play with a small five and have DeMarcus play four. Any issues DeMarcus would have defensively, well, Anthony Davis is behind you, leading the league in blocks. So this could be crazy, and they just got to figure it out together, and it's just not going to happen in a week. It just doesn't. But I'll tell you what, they're two players that want to win, that like each other. Anthony just wants to win. When they lost the playoff game, I think it was a year ago, or the first round game the year before, we couldn't find him for a week. I mean, the kid was crushed. He sees himself in an organization that starts vying for championships. And you know what? It starts with having talented players.
Yeah, I think people think this is going to be immediate, and it's not going to happen overnight. As you said, I want to know who your guards are, and these guys finding their spacing there. And can we look at something where you got a 23-year-old and 25-year-old and say we got a bright future? You do. Anthony Davis says he wants to stay in New Orleans, and if Boogie can find that he likes the atmosphere there and the direction of the team, then all right, maybe you got something here. But until you show me who the guards are, I can't handicap that team.
Right, and they'll figure it out. I mean, I'm telling you, they had to have a plan if we get this done. Now there's going to be pressure on us to win, and the only way we can achieve that is if we have good guard play. And come on, these guys are professionals. I mean, Delaware guys, they know what they're doing. And I think, again, you look at that situation, it would be neat for New Orleans to have a team that's doing that. I mean, one, I like the city. I think, I love going down there and the all that stuff. But that is a place with that storm that came through and wrecked the place, and it was almost done, to see some sort of rebirth and have it be through the NBA. When you're talking about the NBA, the greatest thing about the All-Star game last night, they put all the flags up of all the players from the world that were in the game. Oh, it was incredible. You sit there and you're like, oh, my gosh. You talk about a melting pot. You talk about, true a franchise and an organization like the NBA that's about inclusion. Come on. I mean, that was neat last night.
He's John Calipari, Kentucky head coach, joining us. Who's the player in the All-Star game who you tried to recruit, you didn't get him?
Well, I'm going to tell you who I saw. Don't tell anybody for the first time, because I'm not watching much NBA other than my own players. The Greek.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's ridiculous. I mean, I watched him go, and he was challenged by Anthony now. He wanted to say, look, and he's big, long. He plays like a guard.
Did you know about him?
Got big shoulder.
Did you know about him in Europe?
I went. But David Babcock worked for me when I was the New Jersey net coach. What happened to me when I was the net coach?
It didn't go well.
Yeah, I got fired. But anyway, he was my player personnel director, and David told me, I said, why would you take a guy from Greece? Are you kidding me? He goes, wait till you see this guy. And so I kept hearing about him, and Milwaukee, you don't get to see him on TV. And then I watched last night. I looked at my son, and I said, Brad, did you know this guy was this good? I mean, literally, he's the next wave, unless he just was excited about playing. I don't know. I'll have to watch him more. But, I mean, length and skill, and David tells me he's as good a player, better person, which means that he'll be in Milwaukee his whole career, and if they get some other guys, they need guards.
Yep.
And they tell me they play him at point guard at times. What? Dude's 7 foot tall.
When's the last time you had a former?
I wish I would have found him. If I would have had a 7 foot point guard. Drove everybody crazy. You think they're mad now? Oh, they'd have been crazy.
When's the last time you had a former player say, Coach, why don't you come coach our team?
No, they don't want me. After having him here. After having him here, and you watch, I coach these guys.
Yeah, but you only coach them a year. Yeah, they didn't get tired of you after a year.
Yeah, but it's believe me, it's like 7 years, and they know it. and then what's on them here, and then how they have to sacrifice. I mean, I've held every player I've coached back, if you ask them. From Anthony to Michael to Terrence, you could go to John to DeMarcus. They play in games, they start shooting threes and look over at me like, yeah, you didn't let me shoot these. Carl Towns, I went to one game, the first 4 shots Carl took were threes because I wouldn't let him shoot threes here. And he looks at me like that. This is what you had, you didn't use. But you know what? I'd rather be in the situation I'm in to be a help, to be a mentor, to be whatever they need me to be. And if they don't need me and we text every once in a while, that's fine too. I'm not, last night, again, my son said, are we going to the All-Star game Sunday? We have an off day. He went like that, like we. And I asked him after Georgia, after we should have gotten beat at Georgia. Georgia played great. I said, do you really want to go to that game? He said, yeah. So we went down and watched and got to see DeMarcus and Anthony and John and the other guys. I got to see AI was there. I got to, say hello to him. I hadn't seen him since the Hall of Fame induction stuff. But
you bring up Georgia, and you beat Georgia, and then You got riled up after the game, and you stood up for
What?
other
About
coaches.
What are you talking about? I got riled up? I don't get riled up.
You got
Speak my mind, but
excited, agitated.
well, here's my point. How are we firing coaches in midseason? It's basically, tell me what it does. You're a bright.
Yeah.
No, you're not a bright guy, but you're a guy. Tell me what it does. What do you do by firing a guy at midseason?
Unless you're saying we're going to announce that the job is open early, and or you give an assistant coach a chance to get some run as a head coach. But I'm with you. I don't like it. I don't like when you fire a coach.
So let me go further. The reason that situation is there, the pressure right now is all on the AD to do something. So by doing it, he takes the heat off himself or she, instead of just saying, look, we'll figure this out when it's over. And if the coach goes on a heck of a run and they go in the NCAA tournament and they get to a Sweet 16 or bust it, think about Syracuse last year, how bad they were. Do you know how bad they were early? And they were in the Final Four. What are you going to fire the guy at midseason? Well, you could say, well, he wasn't coaching. Stop. You know, the same thing with Duke this year. Duke struggled. We struggled in the middle. So what I said after the game is I'm having a clause put in my contract. You can fire me at midseason, but there's going to be a monetary. You're going to have to pay me more money than you even owe me. Like, fire me in the season. But because, again, to discourage that, and I told all coaches, you should all do it. Every coach should do it.
Yeah, but you're not getting fired. You're not getting fired midseason.
I got fired already. I already got fired. I know what it feels like.
Not at Kentucky.
And you know what? You ready? I got fired in the middle of it wasn't a season. It was a lockout. I don't even know what you call it. But I was in the middle.
Yeah, but you're
gone.
Do you think Kentucky will fire you one day?
If I try to stay too long, yeah.
Not possible.
That I can promise won't happen.
Not possible. Not possible.
Oh, yes, it is. Let me tell you.
That you'll stay too long?
No, that is not possible.
Yeah, I agree.
No.
So they're never going to fire you.
You know I won't because, one, I don't want to die in the seat. And two, we'll know, you and I, and we'll talk off the record like you had a heck of a run, man. You know what I'm saying? You had a heck of a run. Here's what's happened right now and why it looks the way it does. We've gotten on a roll of being able to get the best and the brightest and great kids who are good people who want to do this together and win. And I'm in a position that it goes beyond just basketball. We're helping families. We're creating hope. And I'm having a ball with it. Now, I want to win every game we play. You ever watch me coach? Don't act like I don't want to win. Don't stop. Well, you don't want to win championships. No, I want to lose championships. Are you out of your mind? Yes, I do. But not at the expense of the kids. I'm not going to sit a kid down, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do everything I can to help a kid. And if it doesn't work at some point, it'll be his decision why he's stepping back. So it's unique here right now, but this may change. There may be a circumstance that changes this where I don't feel the same, which is we're creating hope. This is more than just basketball. This is more about families than it is about basketball. Yeah, we're teaching. We had a meeting this morning. We're showing tape. We're teaching basketball. We're trying to get it right. But it's bigger than that here. That's why I can sustain this for a while. But to say I'm going to do this 20 years, you'll see me and look at me and say, I don't think the guy can hear. Look at him.
Yeah, you're not.
His hair sticking up in the back.
Yeah, you're not.
You know, look,
you're not, Stan.
Did he pee on himself? Look at this guy. I mean, I'm not going to go to that. I don't need to, that's not what moves me. It's not the walking in an arena and, hey, that doesn't move me. What moves me now at my age is we're creating hope for people and kids. Now, I'm making them responsible for themselves. You should have heard the meeting this morning. They are responsible for themselves. We're here to help, but you're responsible for you. I'm not responsible for you. Your performance, own it.
They're 22-5. They're at Missouri coming up tomorrow night. Has your son gotten any more tattoos?
No, because of you. But he's wearing socks inside out because he saw that show. And but he knows the tattoos are out because you just absolutely crushed the poor kid. He's right now. He walks around with his head down. I hope he feels good, but that's all right.
Yeah, I hope something good happens to your son in life there, Coach.
Hey, have your people listen to that podcast if they want to know. I'm going to tell you, truthfully, I always kind of liked you. I don't have any idea why. But you were so open in that thing, and there was so much stuff I learned about you that I did not know. And you know what? You're a battler. You care about people, and that's why you've had this success. You walked away from the gravy train, and did your own thing. I mean, it's why I like going on. I know I can bust you, and you're not going to cry like a big baby. You bust me, and I want to smack you in the mouth, but I don't. I leave you alone. It's all good.
That's why you don't like going on Mike and Mike, because they're big babies, is what you told me. That's what I heard, right? Oh, you're going to say something different now that we're on the radio. Okay. All right, tough guy.
Oh, you're sick. Sick human being.
Don't screw it up at Missouri.
Thanks, brother.
All right. That's John Calipari. Continental Tire, Coach's Corner. Proud to be the exclusive tire of the Dan Patrick Show. No matter where you drive or what you drive, Continental designs tires for what you do. For more information, visit ContinentalTire.com. Continental Tire for what you do.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.